The RDS was founded in 1731 to encourage the cultural and economic development of Ireland. Originally named the Dublin Society, it later became the Royal Dublin Society, but it is known today simply as the RDS. In the beginning, the Society focused on inspiring and funding new initiatives across several sectors, including the arts and sciences, agriculture, and industry. Today, the RDS also works in the equestrian and business enterprise sectors. Over the past 300 years, the RDS has assembled a remarkable collection of artworks. Many of these were commissioned or purchased by the Society, but some came into the collection through bequests and donations. In this short tour, we'll take a look at some highlights in the RDS Art Collection. Thomas Pryor was the principal founder of the Society. He developed the idea of awarding prizes for inventions and experiments in agriculture and manufacturing that would benefit the people and the economy of Ireland. With financial backing from Samuel Madden, a wealthy Irish landowner, the Society also established awards for amateur and practicing artists in an effort to improve the poor standard of the arts in Ireland at that time. But it was the president of the Society, Philip, 4th Earl of Chesterfield, who realised that the country needed an art academy if standards were to improve. And so, the Society founded its own school, which provided free instruction in the art of drawing to young and mostly indigent pupils. The ability to draw was considered essential to all artistic practice at the time, even for craft workers. Pupils, like 12-year-old James Henry Brockus, were taught how to draw, focusing especially on the human figure, flowers and foliage, decorative patterns, and animals. Some pupils received even further training. After several years of tuition at the school, the Society paid for Constantine Panormo to complete his education in Rome, where he copied this bust of Thalia, Muse of Comedy, from the statue on display at the Vatican Museums. Prizes were awarded too. During his studies, John Comerford was awarded 3 certificates and a medal for excellence in drawing the human figure. His ability to depict character as well as form is evident in his later portrait of Thomas Broghel, the Society's honorary secretary. Not only did the school produce artisans who found work as cabinet makers, textile designers, stuccoists, silversmiths, and other craft workers, it also produced many of Ireland's finest painters and sculptors, like James Barry, who went on to become an accomplished history painter in London. Patrick Cunningham established a thriving sculpture practice following his tuition at the school, first in Dublin and then in London. His authentic portrayal of the charismatic William Maple, the Society's first registrar, illustrates why he became so successful. And on completion of his training, Thomas Kirk quickly established himself as a gifted sculptor. He was praised especially for his portrait busts, like this one of the enigmatic professor of mnemonics Gregor von Feinagel, who delivered a series of talks at the Society's public lecture theatre. The Society also supported the arts in Ireland by purchasing artworks that were made in Ireland. 3 important paintings were acquired at the Society of the Artists of Ireland exhibition in 1801. William Cumming was a former pupil at the Society's school, and his Byronesque sitter, known only as Mr. Bowden, may have been John Bowden, who also attended the school. William Ashford was a professional artist. Considered the finest landscape painter of his day, the Society later purchased his studio collection of statues and props for educational use at its school. And George Chinnery was an English painter who occasionally taught at the school before he departed for India and East Asia, where he pursued a long and lucrative career. The Society sometimes purchased works directly from artists. 5 guineas was paid for Alexander Pope's crayon drawing of John Bowes, the late Lord Chancellor of Ireland, for use as an educational tool at the drawing school. When past pupil Andrew Richard Twigg offered his portrait of the Society's Vice President, General Charles Vallancey, the Society paid him 50 guineas and immediately hung it in the boardroom. And even after it had purchased George Grattan's Blind Beggar Woman and Child, the Society had the painting framed and transported to London, where Grattan displayed it almost like a calling card for prospective clients. Many of the artworks in the collection came by bequest from supporters of the Society. The most significant of these was from wealthy philanthropist Thomas Pleasance. His bequest included portraits, landscapes, still lifes and genre paintings by Irish as well as European artists. This landscape by George Barrett is one of 2 that Pleasance bequeathed to the Society. A pupil of the school in its early days, Barrett became one of Ireland's finest landscape painters and is still highly regarded today. This still life is thought to be by Charles Collins. Active in the first half of the 18th century, Collins was one of the first artists to practice still life painting in Ireland and is considered a master of the genre. Another significant bequest came from John Henry Foley, former pupil and one of Ireland's greatest sculptors. He left the entire contents of his studio to the Society in 1874, including some of the original plaster models from which all his statues were cast. This superb marble sculpture of the Resting Discobolus by Mathieu Kessels was bequeathed in 1826 by Anne Putland, the High Society hostess, renowned for her lavish parties. And this striking work by the Dutch Golden Age painter Salomon Koning was believed to be a Rembrandt when it was bequeathed to the Society in 1864. Along with bequests, donations were made by institutions, individuals, and societies. In 1817, the geologist Sir George Stuart Mackenzie presented this magnificent portrait by the great Scottish painter Sir Henry Raeburn in honour of his friend and colleague Charles von Giesecke, who was the Society's professor of mineralogy. The now dissolved Queen's University in Ireland presented this vivid portrait of the respected scientist and vice president of the Society, George Johnston Stoney, in 1884. And, having been on loan from the Carlow County Club Hunt Committee for over 40 years, this monumental portrait of John Watson, master of the Carlow and Island foxhounds, was presented outright to the Society in 1967. When the Society relocated in the mid-1920s from its headquarters at Leinster House to its present site in Ballsbridge, County Dublin, some of its members made a number of significant donations to help furnish the new buildings. Amongst these were this magnificent marble statue of Eve by the Italian neoclassical sculptor Giovanni Maria Benzoni, and this oil painting depicting the Crimean War by the Scottish Royal Academician Robert Gibb. The collection was further enhanced by the presentation of 2 large-scale paintings. This dramatic seascape of fishermen attempting to reach Hastings Harbour in a storm is by Polish artist Edward Hildebrandt. And this bucolic landscape is by Edmund Chaganey, a Belgian painter who was renowned for his skillful portrayal of oxen as well as his spectacular vistas. The 20th century saw an expansion of the Society's activities, all overseen by its dynamic president, Arthur Edward Guinness, first and last Baron Ardelon. Here he is portrayed by the outstanding Irish portraitist Sir William Orpin. Initiatives in the field of science included the founding of the Irish Radium Institute at the Society's own laboratory. The institute, which produced radon essential for use in the treatment of cancer, was led by John Joly, Professor of Geology at Trinity College Dublin, seen here in this exceptional portrait by Leo Whelan. Joly was assisted by Dr. Walter Clegg Stevenson, a young and talented physician at Dublin's Dr. Stevens Hospital. He is depicted in this handsome portrait by Walter Osborne, one of a group of painters known as the Irish Impressionists. The most important date in the Society's calendar, however, was the Dublin Horse Show. One of Ireland's greatest painters, Sir John Lavery, attended the 1926 event, complete with brushes and easel, and captured this fleeting image of a female competitor in flight over the water jump in the RDS main arena. The man responsible for bringing the Dublin Horse Show to an international stage was the indomitable Judge William Evelyn Wiley, seen here at his desk at the Society's Ballsbridge headquarters, a tabletop model of John Henry Foley's Edmund Burke in the background. Encouragement of the arts continued to be a priority for the Society at this time. Constantine Curran was an historian of 18th century Dublin architecture and an active member of the Society's Committee of Arts for more than 50 years. His portrait is by one of the finest Irish artists of the period, Sarah Purser. Depicted here by the Irish modernist Muriel Brandt is the physicist Felix Hackett, a long-standing member of the Society who made numerous contributions to arts and culture in Ireland. And finally, this portrait is of Muriel Gahan, a key figure in the revival movement of the traditional Irish crafts. Set against a surreal background by artist Edward Maguire, Gahan was elected the first female vice president of the Society in 1976. The RDS is committed to preserving its heritage art collection for future generations and to making it more accessible to the public through the RDS Digital Archive. This undertaking has been generously funded by the Heritage Council under the Community Heritage Grant Scheme between 2021 and 2023. If you would like to discover more of the works in the RDS Art Collection, you can visit the RDS Digital Archive at digitalarchive.rds.ie/collections or contact us by email at librarydesk@rds.ie.